Once upon a time, far beyond the rolling green hills and deep inside a misty, enchanted forest, stood a magnificent castle. This wasn't an ordinary castle. It was under a sparkling, crackling magic spell. Tall stone towers reached up to touch the clouds, and thick, green ivy wrapped around the grand wooden doors like a warm, sleepy hug. Inside this giant, quiet castle lived a beast. He was very tall, with thick, fuzzy fur and small, curved horns. Because he looked a little different, he stayed hidden away in the shadows, feeling very lonely on the inside. He guarded a single, glowing red rose that floated beautifully under a crystal glass dome. The rose sparkled with magical stardust, but its petals were slowly, softly falling, one by one. The beast wondered, as he watched the glowing petals drift down, would anyone ever be brave enough to look past his fuzzy exterior and become his friend? One snowy, quiet afternoon, a bright and kind-hearted girl named Belle found herself wandering through the misty forest. She loved reading books about grand adventures, but she had never been on one herself. When she saw the massive castle, she didn't feel scared. She felt terribly curious. She pushed open the heavy oak doors, and to her absolute amazement, the castle was completely alive. As she brushed the snow from her shoulders, a tiny, cheerful teacup named Chip hopped happily across a wooden table to say hello. His little porcelain face beaming with a warm smile. A friendly golden clock ticked and talked a cheerful welcome, waddling back and forth on the mantelpiece. Belle laughed softly, her voice echoing like tiny bells through the grand halls. She explored the winding, torchlit corridors until she reached the most magnificent room of all, a giant library. It was filled from the shiny marble floor to the painted ceiling with thousands and thousands of colorful books. But hiding in the darkest corner of the library was the beast. He rumbled a low, nervous growl, hoping she would run away. But Belle didn't run. She saw the sadness in his big blue eyes. She gently pulled a dusty, golden-bound book from a shelf, blew the dust off with a soft puff, and held it out to him.
Would you like to read a story with me?
The beast's giant, furry ears twitched in surprise. No one had ever asked him to read before. Slowly, very slowly, his big, soft paws stepped out of the shadows and into the warm, flickering candlelight. He sat down clumsily on a giant velvet cushion. As Belle began to read a story about faraway lands and gentle dragons, the beast listened closely, his breathing slowing down, feeling safe for the very first time. Days turned into weeks, and the winter snow continued to fall softly outside the stained glass windows. Belle and the beast spent every evening in the library, drinking warm, sweet chamomile tea poured by friendly teapots. They laughed, they shared stories, and the beast learned how to smile. He wasn't scary at all. He was just a gentle giant who had forgotten how to be happy. But deep in the west wing, the magical glowing rose was losing its magic. The stardust was dimming, and the air around it was growing colder. One exceptionally chilly winter evening, Just as the castle was wrapping itself in a cozy twilight, a terrible thing happened. The magic rose began to flicker like a candle in the wind. Its bright red glow turned to a pale, frosty pink, and a sudden, freezing wind howled through the high castle windows. The heavy wooden shutters banged loudly, and the warm fireplaces instantly sizzled into cold smoke. The beast grew incredibly weak. He slumped heavily against the grand staircase, his breathing shallow, his thick fur shivering in the sudden frost. The castle began to lose its warm golden glow, turning gray and icy. The little teacups trembled, hiding in the cupboards, and the cheerful clock stopped ticking, frozen in fear. The very last magical petal of the rose was hanging by a tiny, delicate thread. Oh no! The beast closed his eyes gently, a single, sparkling tear rolling down his furry cheek. He thought he would be trapped in this cold, lonely spell forever. The wind howled louder, shaking the grand chandeliers. Was it too late to break the magic spell? Was the beast going to lose his only friend? But Belle was incredibly brave. She rushed down the grand staircase, her dress swishing against the icy marble. She knelt beside the beast and gently took his massive, furry paw in her two small, warm hands.
You are not alone. You are my dearest friend, and I love you.
Suddenly, whoosh! A brilliant, breathtaking cascade of warm golden stardust erupted from the drooping rose. The magical light soared through the air, melting the frost instantly. The freezing winter wind stopped completely, replaced by a gentle, fragrant summer breeze that swept through the castle. The beast was lifted by the magical light, and the gloomy shadows were washed away by beautiful, radiant sunshine. The spell was completely broken. True, pure kindness had saved them all. The magical rose bloomed brighter than ever before, its petals perfectly restored. The beast smiled, his eyes shining with pure joy, and he gently took Belle's hand. They danced happily and gracefully in the grand sparkling ballroom, surrounded by all their magical, cheering friends. The castle was finally full of warmth, light, and love, and they all lived wonderfully, cozily, and happily ever. As the stars twinkle outside your window tonight, remember that being kind is the greatest magic of all. Good night, brave friends. Sleep tight